second to pop things. I know like to jump in last second. It's 5:55 and we are still alive, people. I'll be right back, so we'll give everybody a second to see if anybody jumps in and grab a drink. Well, I wish I was coming to you with better news. I'm sorry the way I've had to do this for you guys and be so discreet about what I've been trying to tell you. And I'm also sorry for lying by omission, but I had no choice, guys. You know, by now you guys realize the situation somewhat of what I've been in and why people like me have to be careful when and how we speak, especially if I want to stick around here for you guys. I can't really say too much at once. But those of you who've watched the series, the War Angel series, you know, you should, if you were paying attention actually to the work, and I know it's a lot, and it's a lot to go through, but you should be able to put together the pieces and see what I was telling you was going to happen. When I said, this is the beginning of what I meant. And, you know, when I gave you the date, 10-4, you know, it kind of funny that synchronicity is that it means message received. You know? I laugh about these things now because when you do like spiritual training and work, you kind of recognize the ridiculousness of this reality. So, and I've also, you know, I've seen many things in my day, so it's very hard to get me to panic. I usually get cold. So I just want to check to see if the stream is running under the monitor here. All right, cool. Looks like we're doing good. So, a lot of things to go over. I don't know what's going to come out just yet, but I want to come back for you guys and give you the heads up. You know, you guys, at this point, if I haven't made believers out of you, I don't know what to say. You know, it's bad when I'm saying It's a lot, guys. The first thing I'm going to start off with is take no sides in this world. Okay, there are no good guys in what's coming, and I know that's hard to accept because everyone wants to play favorites. But you know, both sides in the Israeli conflict are not to be supported, in my opinion. Here, okay, there's no supporting these actions from any of these people or the historical actions of them, because neither side have been good or representing any form of creator God, okay? And using books to justify killing people and, you know, making your claim that your bloodline is better than another. This is not, it's not a God that anyone should be following, okay? So before you go jumping on the bandwagon and see the NPC chip change. What's up, buddy? What's that? See you, dude. What's up, dude? What's up, bro? So it's rough, you know, and it's rough for me because you can't be a prophet in your own land. You know, I've had to like turn away a lot of friends and family and put my name through the mud, lose my entire life's work to save a bunch of ungrateful people. You know, but it's gonna get hectic really fast, and now that you're starting to see that I was telling you guys the truth, you know, here it is again. You know it's serious when I'm saying if I don't know what I want to say, I have to hold myself back, and you know how I like to run my mouth. You know it's serious, guys. It's serious. Let me get rid of that sounds. Sorry about that. But yeah, so for those of you who actually sat through the few hours of the War Angels series of the streams, you at this point you should know, you know, the predictions and how they played out. And the last one of my social media pages, Twitter, I've been trolling for the past year, making this prediction. Okay, And I've been hinting at these things little by little, just so that people have one more reference that's left that you know that's enough to give you some reason to doubt your existence. But what's most important now, and I keep saying this, you can't take sides and you can't let the media sway your heart, because they're going to try, you know, to get you all riled up. Same thing they always do, you know, and you gotta use discernment and you gotta stay awake. And woke is the past tense of sleep. These guys, they work in inversions, okay? So a lot of the manipulation tactics is to, you know, use your morality against you, and they invert things. It's part of this game that they play. This attack that just happened in Israel, that, look, it's compartmentalization, okay? It was a breach of intelligence for the majority, but you know, I also did body language analysis and other things that I showed on Facebook, which got me in a lot of trouble. And when you watch this guy's speech, you can tell he was very happy about the attack going through. It would save his political career. It allows him to, you know, do things that he wouldn't be able to do, invoke military powers and martial law. Okay, the other side, you have zealots on both sides, and both sides would love nothing more to eradicate the other. And in the middle, you have Christians getting spit on by both sides. And, you know, there's good people in all religions, okay? But those people who are really good, they read the text, but they don't live the text. They just live the path, okay? And, you know, there's a lot of rabbis who would agree, and you see there's lots of infighting in those territories right now between the groups of the people who, you know, want to live the path rather than the, you know, what is being directed on these books and papers. And that's a lot of, like, you know, it's part of magic, is using these written words and papers to create these contracts that you have to follow, these tracks you follow that are cons, okay? So it's like there's a world on top of the world that people don't see, okay? And there's people in very high places that do not like humanity, and their only goal is chaos. I know this sounds crazy, but you have, and this is why it gets complicated to explain to people what's actually going on, because there's the physical level when you see, and the global, you know, geopolitical stuff and the economic stuff and all that, and that's great. And you can say, oh, these guys want this and these guys want that, and it makes sense on the top level, but then there's levels on top of that that manipulate those people. And it's hard to accept that those levels want you to suffer, and that is their only goal. That is their only goal, is suffering. Mara, okay? Satan, whatever you want to call it. God of this world is the enemy. And, you know, you have to not allow yourself to be swayed by any of these weird moral arguments. So, it is way too many layers for the average Joe to explain, and if I tried to tell you the real truth, first of all, you know, they would all be, most people are not going to believe me if I told you who I really am and what I'm, you know, I've done. You're not going to believe it. And second of all, they'll off me. You know, I can save the world in 7 days. They'll off me. If I they'll off me really fast. You want to see how quickly I'll disappear. So, you know, the thing is, like, you know, I guess I'm going to talk about some things that are going to happen in the United States, because again, you know, there's multiple possibilities and timelines, right? And there's many psychics and remote viewers. Everybody was making this prediction. They're getting confused, and they're going to think that this first attack is the big, and it's not. This is just this is like the beginning of the show. And, you know, this can go many different ways, because, you know, again, there's choices that have to be made in different levels, and that will direct which way this plays out. In the least case, in this country, there's going to be issues, and let's just assume on the lowest level the amount of, of new arrivals that have come here that are going to be displaced and living in these Democrat-run cities, these blue states. Look how they treat people already. Look at the crime and what happened. Let's just look what happened with BLM and that Antifa thing, and how few people it took to cause that much chaos and overwhelm the system. Okay? Now you have double or triple that amount, probably way more than that, who are, let's just, when these resources run out and they're confined to these areas, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to see the purge. Okay? Because you're going to see hood rats from the hood, and then you're going to see like African migrants and Venezuelan migrants. And you guys think that they think they're hard. I'm telling you, these migrants are way harder. Way harder. Okay? And when they start getting it, they don't care about your life. So it's going to be crazy. Okay? It's going to be a lot of issues. The other thing is that, there's claims that certain organizations like the UN are paying soldiers to come in and sit and wait, okay? And there was one video on TikTok of a guy who was showing a cash card and explaining that he wasn't paid his salary, so now he's gonna, basically rat on them. So we are being put into a position where the best case scenario is still not good. And people need to start waking up and preparing. And, it's going to affect everyone. All the people who were following the political motions and thinking that they were the good guys and they're controlling the censorship and they're going to regret this horribly. Okay? And the scary part is some of them are so indoctrinated and so brainwashed that as it's happening, won't look at what's happening to all these liberals who are getting stabbed and shot and attacked, and they're like, no, don't, no, I can't. So, if you have the ability to get away from these areas, now is the time. Okay, start a new life because you're not gonna be happy, And I hate to say this, because like I always say, look, Jesus wasn't a Christian, I'm not a Christian, okay? And I spent, a good portion of my life playing music that is like, anti-religion, because in my religion, the God of this world is Satan, okay? So black metal was the only place for me to go. It was the only place of revolution, all right? But I'm siding with the Christians, and I'm in the Bible Belt, where all the guns and Bible thumping people are. Okay? So if Mr. Antichrist over here is siding with the Christians, it's serious. Because I have no affinity for the church whatsoever. Okay? Like, it's bad. It's bad. I keep saying this. It's bad when the pop music is more satanic than black metal. We're in serious times, guys. And, you need to prepare. Look, it's crazy to say this, but when you stop and you start paying attention, you're going to see that whether you believe in spirituality or not, I don't believe spirituality is woo. I believe it is science that you don't understand that's hidden from you. Okay? And, just like different races have different athletic abilities, different bloodlines have different spiritual abilities, but everybody has some. And collectively, if we all come together and share those abilities and create one unit of humanity. The differences is what makes everyone equal. The differences in bloodlines and regions and things is what makes us equal as a human species collectively, right? Like the thin white people with the thin noses can live in the mountains, right? They don't do well in the desert, whereas the black people from Africa with the thicker noses, they do better in the desert. Like it's a very simple, understanding what I mean. But spirituality is the same way. There's certain abilities that are, inherited, and everybody has them. But whether you believe it or not, it's irrelevant, because the people or the things that run this place, they believe in evil. And when you look at the word evil and you flip it backwards, it is live. Same way as lived is devil. So this is the insanity of this world, okay? And you need to wake up to it very quickly because you will be led astray. And when the shit happens, the shit hits the fan, you'll be panicked and you're going to look for answers and they're going to grab you by your emotions and they're going to grab you by your morals and they're going to manipulate you, okay? Next thing you know, you'd be going and, oh, let's go support Israel. Let's go support everybody, whoever it is. There's no good guys in this race, okay? There's no good guys. The Palestinians are not good. The Israelis are not good. They're not, okay? They're not, they can't stand under God's judgment, okay? They cannot, all right? It says, all the books, thou shalt not kill. And then you go through the books and little by little, like oh, but you can kill here, 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 okay? Like, you know, even in the Talmud, like the Jews, like Jerusalem will tell you, it says if we tell you what if the people, the goyim, the cattle, were to find out, they would kill us, right? You know, there are no good guys in warfare, okay? Now, granted, there is a right to self-defense, so no one can say Israel has no right to defend themselves, the same way no one can say that the Palestinians have a right to defend themselves. That's their fucking business. Mind your business. Don't get involved. Don't take a side. Refuse to take a side. It's not your fight. You don't know the backstories. You don't know the karma of these people, and it's not your business. Mind your business. Okay? Mind the business that pays you, and nobody's paying us right now. Okay? We're in a lot of trouble. Now, we have these migrants that are coming in, and obviously there's good and bad in all things. There are, if you search military-aged men on TikTok right now, you're going to see it trending. Okay? And you'd only need 5 guys. Not even. Okay? But 5 guys can really cause a lot of problems. All right? And again, to say this, even on the basic level, if nothing goes like that, we're going to have just serious logistical issues that are going to cause problems beyond belief. And the useful idiots, you know, they may not wake up fast enough to be useful to us, you know, and you guys gotta get ready. So, and on the least case, you're going to see crime but the kind of crime that's going to happen is because people are not mentally stable anymore, okay? They're traumatized, they're at their end, and when, just in general, when you put a person into survival situations where they just need food, you know, primal reptilian instincts come out, okay? Like, everyone, when it comes down to the final straw, very few people would rather starve to death than steal. But then there's, you know, the majority of people who don't have a spiritual guiding system, you know, they have no morality. You know, they're very easily swayed. So and then you have the mental defects that are coming from, you know, all the pressure and trauma and, you know, bad food and, you know, television and societal issues that they're acting crazy. And the crime, look, I grew up in New York in the 80s and 90s during the crack epidemic. I did security there, okay? I've seen crazy shit. I've been in gang fights. I've been like in a lot of stuff, guys. But there was still an honor code, okay? There was still reason behind it, okay? Now, like, you're seeing insanity with the kind of a crime that's going to be committed. And on top of it, there's organized groups that are just with no regard for life. Like, you know, if the same kind of like flash mob robberies were to happen in the 90s, they wouldn't be running over old people and randomly attacking innocent people. You know, and you would have a couple of like, you know, here and there, but not like this. Okay, the next generation, they're really lost. So you guys got to get ready for this. All right, like it's going to get weird, and I mean all kinds of weird. And this is like the good timeline. Okay, even the good timeline, as long as you have to pay attention. And it's strange how, if you look at places like New York, and people who are energy sensitive will know what I'm talking about. When you walk in New York, you can feel the shift. And when you cross a street, you're in a different country. Okay? New York is the most racially segregated place ever. Okay, it's the most, out of all the places in the United States, New York's the most racist. Okay, it's way by far it was the most racist. Okay, it's like, but more important is the way you have clusters of people and energy, and how they magnetically buffer each other. And you've seen this in neighborhoods and areas where you'll cross a street and you feel it's different. You see it's different. And it's not just the money, it's the heart of the people. It's different. And you have to be aware of this, okay? Like, these corporate city soulless areas need to be avoided if you can. If you need to escape, escape. Do what you can, because you're not going to be happy. All right? And I can't. There's so much I would like to say that I can't say, and there's so much prehistory that you need to know what's really going on, and there's no time, But like I said in the other streams, these leaders, they're not as smart as you think they are. Just because someone has money and a title or fancy clothes. Like, listen, I can go put a suit on right now, okay, and get like the social proofing. I can dress fancy. I purposely come on here in my workout pajamas. I have 50 pairs of these that I wear as pajamas. Okay, literally 50 pairs. This way I don't have to, I don't have to worry about material things. I tend to, But the point I'm trying to make to you is that you can't believe anything and you have to get ready. Now, over there, look, what's supposed to happen is not good. There's no way out for them, and the arrogance of these people to think that they're going to get the result they're looking for, that's how the devil gets you. They promise you, oh yeah, you're going to have all this stuff, and at the very end, that's when you get fucked. Okay? That's when you get fucked. And, unfortunately, and this is within agreement with the rabbis who are not in alliance with Israel. They have a heavy karmic debt to pay. They're not the good guys. The Palestinians aren't the good guys either, because and here's where things are going to get interesting. My prediction was that if Germany if Russia has to get to the point where they're encroaching on Germany, or if Germany gets pulled in to the situation, that is a major sign. One of the girls that was killed and kidnapped and killed, you see her body with her legs mangled in the back of a truck, and all these guys are screaming. She was a German national. So, now we have a possibility of having American hostages, German hostages, multi-nation hostages. Okay? This is the exact thing that they need to get more killing and more money being laundered through this killing cycle. And at the multi-levels, everybody has different reasoning of why they should do it and why it's okay. What permission slips, I like to call them. People always need permission slips to do something bad to somebody. Like, oh, I screwed that guy over because he did this thing, or he reads that book, or he, looked at me, for whatever it is. You give yourself a permission slip to do evil. Okay? There's no permission slips with gods. Okay? There's no permission slips. There's no reasoning. They don't give a shit. Okay? And what I mean by that is, like, you can look at the world as a computer simulation that when you give it input, it has a calculated response output. And you can, and again, saying that philosophy and spirituality is a metaphor for physical interaction. So when you think of it this way, you're going to manifest these punishments on your own, because it's just a causality chain. You can't avoid it. At one point or another, you're going to eat that karma. You're going to eat the balls that come back off the wall and smack you in the face. One point or another, you can avoid it. You can do all your weird rituals and sacrifices, or pray, but eventually everybody pays. It's one way or another. But it's going to get heavy really fast. And there's a lot of people who I've talked to this about over the past 3 years, and there's a lot of posts that were around this. There's still, I think, maybe 500 hours of my live streams that some of my team has that we're trying to get posted on one of the alt sites, so that there'll be record of it. But I don't know if I even want to release that stuff anymore, because I don't, Again, I just wanted to retire and teach kung fu and pray that there'd just be an easy way out from this. But there is no easy way out, right? So you guys got to get yourselves prepared for anything, but most importantly, prepare your mind to see this stuff, and you're more likely to see actual. They're going to allow some footage to get out that's going to be way more disturbing for Israel than it was for Ukraine, because they want sentiment, they want support, and they control the media, But again, both sides are wrong, right? If you followed your books, the first damn thing it says, "Thou shalt not kill," And this is the problem with these religions, over time. They just degraded and then twisted and moved around, and there's other rules that are added. Like in the Bible originally, it says that we're supposed to be fruitarians. Okay, we're supposed to only eat fruit. It says the fruit-bearing seed will be their food, and the animals are to rule over them. Right? To rule over them. You don't eat your subjects. That's bizarre. It's bizarre. Okay, and that's a whole other thing. But again, these manipulations of universal law come into play little by little, and it's up to you to use your free will to fight your way out. Okay? Like, nobody escapes this place except, by your own will. So that's where we're at. It's going to get heavy, it's going to get live, it's going to be crazy. You got to prepare. All right? And, guys in the martial arts community, you could see the delusion. We're just talking about this in Discord. That the martial arts have degraded so much that you have no reference point. Like, there's no reference point. And, things that are obviously real will be considered fake. And things that are, fake or sloppy will be considered real. And I'm going to do a live stream about that. But I'm trying to give you something you can relate to while I'm here. What is the date today? It's the 8th, I think. So, I said between the 4th and the 11th, that's when we're going to know. And then there's an eclipse that's coming this month, and they call it the Ring of Fire. And within 3 days of that, that's gonna really solidify what's gonna happen. I'm no astrologist, okay? I just I do a very let's call it ghetto remote viewing, okay? Because I don't have a way to describe these things to you in a way you're gonna understand. That's gonna make sense, But it's heavy, man. It's heavy. And imagine if, you're one of the people who knows what's coming before it happens, and you have to tell people and all the shit you have to deal with your whole life. Okay, it's not fun. It's not fun. When you have the weight of everything against you, and all you try to do your whole life is help people. Okay, it's not fun. It's not. It's not a good time. But yeah. So the first thing I would warn you guys in the major cities, in all of the major cities now, because this was done with the intent to cause instability and chaos and suffering. This is the only part of this. This idea of integrating societies in the way they're doing it. These people have think tanks, they understand social engineering, they know the effect. You can't take cultures that are diametrically opposed and push them into each other for them to work. They know what they're doing. Okay? This is not like free love, happy. The governments do not like us. They've never loved us. They've never taken care of us in all of history. Why the hell would anyone believe that now they want to spread love and light and bring all the peoples together? And there should be no borders and no races, and everyone should be... Get the fuck out of here. Wake up. They don't care about us. Okay? They want us to die. There's too many useless eaters. Okay? They want to decrease the surplus population. They've wanted this for a long time. Okay? It's not what you think it is, guys. We're, deep shit. And I know there's a lot of you guys understand what I'm saying. But you guys gotta start training hard, and, better to have it and not need it than need it and be fucked. So I would suggest you start training hard and just, be vigilant. Even in places where you think you're safe, always assume that something will go wrong. Look, even in the Bible Belt, you've had human trafficking, issues for a long time now. You know, you have 2 million or more unknown peoples from unknown places, and you look at the cultures of these places and the type of lives that these people live. These are not people you want to fuck around with. These people are not playing, okay? They did not live a soft life like you. Same way like you've seen how they can very easily underestimate me, right? And you see, just imagine how they're underestimating the potential of these people. It's just very dangerous. And even the good ones who are just coming for, what is acceptable in their culture to defend honor and self-defense or to get resources is completely different than what you think is moral and acceptable. They don't care. And when you mix that with the stupid parts of our population that go around and fucking things up, it's a real fucked up day. There's no good outcome here. Okay? The only way that this country will be saved is if there's a mutiny of sorts where the federal government and the military get together and literally lock down everyone for sedition and treason who goes and aspires to push any of these communist, Marxist, leftist, globalist agendas. Is the only way. It's the only way, and it has to be done swiftly in one shot. Okay, like it has to be a serious, political mutiny. Can't be from the citizens. It has to be on paper. There has to be the contract. So this is how this realm works. It's a form of magic. Okay, these paper trails and these government things, when you see these, these judges in their black robes. Okay, these rituals, ceremonial type of things that they do. They don't even know why, okay? But it's a very important thing that this is done on paper and that, it's done from the authority. I know it sounds like a shitburger deal because it is. It is a shitburger deal. There's in no way that there'll be any stability brought back to this land if it's done any other way. It has to be done on paper. It has to be, it has to be done on paper first. And it would have to be done with the full force of the government, military, police, where you literally are going to have to imprison 1 million people, okay, and maybe even execute people for treason. It may have to go that far. That's the path that we're on right now. There's no way out, okay? And it's difficult because you understand the compartmentalization of people and systems and how they're organized together and what the modality of thinking is. Treating every single person, even me, as a form of an NPC because I can only live within the parameters of my consciousness, my experiences, and my input, right? So what may look like this grand conspiracy is not as grand as people think it is, okay? Except when you get to very, very high places. There's societies and governments and lands and lifestyles that are beyond anything you can fucking comprehend. Okay, there's look, just the amount of wealth that's available in the world. No one in this world should ever be hungry. No one in this world should ever be without food, even if they didn't want to work. Okay, this is bizarro land, and you guys are not ready. And the thing I've been trying to, with the spiritual discernment thing and getting yourselves practiced and actually experiencing for yourself. Like one of my friends, I've been talking to him about this, is, part of the indoctrination process, forcing you into 13 years of school like a group of fish in the years of Pisces, right, is to get you predisposed to following orders and source amnesia and, living on top of directives and concepts, right? Without actually being able to experience them, test them, or relate to them. And if you question it, you were outcasted and treated like a leper. Look what they do with the Pizza Earth stories, right? They don't want you thinking for yourself. You're not allowed to think. Thinking is bad, okay? Questioning anything is bad. You are going to prescribe to whatever's in the book. If it's not in the book, It doesn't exist, and you'll be eaten. It's part of the reason why the contracts and doing this legally is the only way. You have to use their laws against them. Okay? You have to use their processes and their laws against them. It's the only way. Okay? And for some fucking reason, the good guys, they're afraid to pull the trigger and start actually using the law against these people. Okay? And again, compartmentalization and morality. You have a segment of humanity that's deconstructive and one that's constructive. And the constructive set has been brainwashed into believing that seeking justice and doing, taking any kind of action, they're pussyfooting, And this is part of the thing about making Jesus a pussy, making all the, even all the Buddhas are pussies, okay? And it's not what it is in reality, So that's my point in this. Don't involve yourself in protest. Don't involve yourself in violence. If you wanted to do something, you have to do it where there is a legal paper trail and process, because that is fundamental to the world everywhere. Okay, where you get them on processes, even like Sharia law. You need any law. Okay, like it all comes down to these paper trail processes. That's how you're going to get them. There's never going to be enough violence. Right? And it won't ever end. It has to be on paper. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but it's never gonna work. So avoid joining in on any team's violent protest or anything like that. Now, if it comes down to the point where you have to defend property and people from crazy fucking maniac zombies, or then you should organize and you should defend things. But you should never be protesting and causing violence for violence sake. It's just not going to do shit. All right, it's going to dig you guys into a bigger fucking hole, and it's not going to get anywhere. So that's the problem. And these guys, they're trying to use these books and scripts as a movie script, like Revelation and things like that. They want this. They want this final battle. Right? And the funny part is, they all think they're doing it in God's name. My God. It's funny how the permission slips work. Even look at trolls on YouTube, right? They go and they act like assholes, and they try to hurt people, try to ruin people's businesses like me or whatever. And how do they do it? How do they rationalize being a piece of shit? They give themselves a permission slip. Oh, well, he looks like that, or he's not this race, or he doesn't come from this place, so I can attack him, and I can be the hero, and make this guy into the villain, right? And they're deluded. They're the bad guys, and they can't accept that they're the bad guys in the story. And if they accept it, they're like, oh, So everybody wants to be the hero of their story, but no one actually pays attention to see if they're really the hero. When these Palestinians are dragging around, dead girls in their vans, screaming, bak, 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 they think they're heroes. They think they're heroes. And, when the Israelis are spitting on Christians who are just going to worship and just passing through the street, there's hundreds of videos of this, they think they're heroes, right? Oh, I can spit on you, right? Or when the Christians, everybody does the same shit. Oh, I'm better than you because, right? But they're not following universal law. And that's why I always say to people, you can't be good and nice at the same time. Nice is really good and good is really nice. There's a universal law and universal truth about being righteous and being honorable and being good that supersedes societies, right? It supersedes your perception and your liking, okay? To be honorable, sometimes you have to be a fucking asshole. Sometimes you have to tell somebody to go fuck themselves. That's a thing. Okay? I'm not saying it isn't. At the same time, these permission slips that people give themselves to be pieces of shit and do evil. It's human nature. It's part of the design. The worship gene. And we're going to get hit from all sides and all different kinds of every conspiracy theory at this point. should be considered like a fucking a spoiler. There should be spoiler alerts, not conspiracy theories anymore, because it's all true, and you're gonna find out real soon. It's all true, everything, you know. So that's what I want to tell you guys, you know. And I hope that you've gone through the other streams and you've made the confirmations yourself. And I hope you're prepared. At least you're not going to be shocked and have your heart swayed when you see the amount of death and destruction and evil that's going to come all over the fucking world. You know, and it's like all at the same time. And the funny thing is, like, some of them, you know, there is a grand conspiracy plan. Okay, I can go over it. I taught this lessons on my live streams, you know, but we're way past that point. We're way past that point, people. You know, like, you know, there is a totalitarian technocracy that's trying to pull off. That's not going to go the way they want it to. Okay, you know, there's the biblical prophecy they're trying to pull off that is not going to go the way anybody wants it to. The only one that wins is the adversary. The only one that wins is the ones who want chaos and suffering for the sake of chaos and suffering. You know, in 1666, the Sabbateans, you can look that up. There was a false messiah. Okay, like, you can keep going back to human history, that this repetitive spirit of fuckery has been in humanity for a long time. And, you know, you have to battle your own demons, guys, you know, and the first thing is to not be swayed emotionally by what they're going to tell you about things. Because they're, you know, it's like, so many people will because you've been indoctrinated for 13 years to sit and answer questions and be a good student, right? And be taught and bound like a rope by external influences that, you know, you're so quick to watch the TV, and if the TV, you know, talking head in the glass magic box tells you this is who you gotta fight, this is who you're gonna fight. You know? Doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat, like, you know, they're both idiots. Okay, they're all idiots. Everybody's a moron looking for somebody else to tell them what to do. You know, even the people telling us what to do are looking for somebody to tell them what to do. They're all making believe. And you only need a very small select group of people at the very top to just throw little pebbles here to get the ripples in the pond. And that's what's happening. Only a very few people know what's actually going on the super high levels of shit. And the truth of the matter is, like, you know, you don't need to know the details. What you need to know is the big picture. Don't be a fucking idiot. Don't get sucked in, okay, to these little... Don't get sucked into the emotional manipulation and using your morality against you, and don't let your own morality weaken you and not allow you to be cautious. I hate to tell you this, stereotype everyone and everything. Okay? It's a horrible thing to say, but people don't like stereotypes because they're true. They're true. Okay? Like, if you're a girl and you see a huge guy, it doesn't matter even what race he is, you see a humongous guy in a dark alley and you're a girl by yourself, you should immediately assume something bad can happen. Okay? When you're a skinny little white boy in a black neighborhood in the middle of the night, you should assume something bad's gonna happen to you. Okay? It's, you know, it's hard to say that, but this is the reality you live in. If you're a Christian and you go into a Muslim place, you know, in some of those countries, you should expect something bad to happen to you. Okay? If you're, you know, an Arab in a Jewish settlement, you should expect what the, you know, it's like these stereotypes are there for a reason. Okay? You know, most people are literally just running like ideological programs and just like responding. They're not thinking for themselves. They have no connection to reality. They don't even look at the sky or pay attention to their animals. So they have no awareness. Okay? And you have to, it's a scary thing because you have to wake up and stay fuck awake. You know, you have to look at every single thing with disgust, and every single thing should be questioned. And for the Christians out there, they say, thou shalt not, you know, don't judge lest ye be judged, right? And that means that we shouldn't judge people and we should be accepting of all things. That's not what it means. It means that you have to be ready to stand judgment. You have to be so clean, right, that no one can fucking throw a stone at you, okay? But to conflict that, right after in the Bible it says, stand not with the works of darkness, but rebuke them. So on one hand they tell you, judge not lest you be judged, But stand not in the works of darkness, but rebuke them. So which one is it? Don't judge people or rebuke them. Rebuking is judging. Okay? It's basically going to say, fuck you. Okay? So don't judge, but judge. No. It's people do not know how to read these texts. These texts have been mistranslated on purpose, and then the leaders of these places, they give you interpretations, and they have source amnesia. Half of them don't know why they're saying it. They just, oh, this is what we're taught. And the other ones know. They know they're deceiving you, and they do it anyway because they want to keep you slaves and make a profit. You know, it's like this. There's a meme I just saw. If I don't know, what was it? Peter is I don't know all these guys. Peter's a fisherman, and somebody else was this other thing, and Jesus was a carpenter. If your pastor has no job, you know, he's a criminal. But you know, you gotta not be afraid to judge, not be afraid, and I hate to say this, of like prejudging people and having prejudices, because, you know, unfortunately, in this times, everyone is guilty until proven innocent. Look, in our legal system now, people are guilty until proven innocent. So why is it that the plebs have to treat everyone as innocent until they prove otherwise? No, I don't leave my doors open at night. Okay, like no, like I assume the bad all the time. Okay, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and you know, don't let your morality and false doctrines, you know, get you sucked into a death trap or supporting some shit you have no business supporting. We have no business supporting anyone but our own people. Okay, everyone should be worried about their own damn people. Okay, like you have yours, and this is what's been broken. This is what these technocracies have tried to do. They've just slaved societies, broken the families, broken the homes, everything to control. And the only thing that matters is your collectives, right? Your small family units, your small part of society, you know, your countries of origin. You should all be taking care of each other like families. That's what they've trained you out of. Okay, like look at what's happening to me here. Like, there's a social experiment, right? Where it's like, you know, I've offered so many things for free, trying to bring people together. Look how much resistance there is, right? Look how much resistance there is. And when you really think about it, like there's nobody in the field in this realm that's more qualified than I am, that is been consistently doing what I've been doing for you people. And look at the resistance. Let's just really see what's happening. Okay, this is happening in the macrocosm, happening everywhere, you know, where people forgot how to stay in cliques, and then when you do have these cliques, they're not running on real universal laws. They're running on regurgitations of teachings from slave masters, because that's all this is. This entire world is a huge slave camp where you get to choose your little slot, you know, and they force you to stay in it. It's the entire system is designed to keep you in check, to keep you in a tax bracket, right? To keep you in a class system. So they have lower, middle, upper class, okay? Like this whole thing, everything is a trap. The whole fucking system is a trap. That's the one thing that annoys me when people say, oh, that I'm like this Andrew Tate guy, yeah? And I'm like, first of all, I'm the original top G, okay? And if you guys, like, I did everything, you know, but honorably, you know, and I did have all the women's too, but I did it with honor, okay, and I didn't have to freaking, you know, sell off. I actually, like, you know, I did work in that field a bit, but, you know, there was no manipulation. Everything was done with like honor and class, okay. So I was that guy, you know, and honestly, you know, he can't even fuck with me because I did it with no money, going into these clubs with my workout clothes, and I would have literally a line of women just waiting to meet me, okay? I'm not saying this to be a dick, but I'm just saying this to prove the legend of who I am in the story. Like, I really am the original top G without the Illuminati money. So, it kind of aggravates me a little bit. There's a little commercial break there for you. But, yeah, so I really am worried about society in the sense, but I'm really worried about the people who follow me because I have a responsibility, you know, to like look after you fucks and protect you and prepare you for shit. And that's really what I want to say, you know? So at least my karma is clear that I did my job and I attempted to at least helped a lot of you who were paying attention and weren't retarded. But yeah, so we have, I think it's a week or two before this eclipse happens, and you think so, Apple? Okay. Appa seems to agree. Can you not do that, buddy? Come up here. All right, good job. So, I wish I could say exactly, and tell you all the details, but it's not going to help, What's going to help is that that at this point, the woo is real. The woo is very real, and, you have to start paying attention to the woo first. Like, look into remote viewing, okay? There's very talented people, and there's, like, scary agencies that deal with this stuff, and all kinds of stuff that will make your head explode if you knew. And I'm not even mention. But, if this is what I can do, and I'm just some random guy from the middle of nowhere, coming from the fucking sewers, you better believe there's some really scary shit that's possible in this world, and there's very powerful people that do use these things, right? So it's a very serious topic. It's not a joke. It's not woo-woo science. The woo is very fucking real, and the woo will save you, because when you have some spiritual understandings, it's a lot easier to deal with the reality. And anybody who's been in the military, or been in any kind of service, in any field that's dealing with violence and in a team, you don't want to be around anyone who is an atheist. It's like, you better have faith in something, okay? And I suggest you guys really get your faith, but don't. And this is the one thing I'm going to make very clear: do not align yourself with any team, okay? Like, in that sense, like, what I mean by that is, like, you don't want to lock yourself into the ideology and economy of the society around the religion. You want to be able to extrapolate the premises and avoid the lies that were taught. And you have to learn how to do this with discernment, because every single book is corrupted. All of them. Buddhism is taught backwards on purpose. Okay, and there's a lot of extra stuff and big fancy words that are put there to mislead you and like make things difficult. Buddhism is very simple, right? Look into Pure Land Buddhism, very simple. Okay, look into Zen Buddhism, very simple. Okay, but when you're dealing with Christianity, Muslim, Judaism, whatever it is, you got to learn how to extrapolate the important points and see the big picture. Compare them to the Vishnu Puranas, compare them to the the Vedic text, compare it to the Sumerian text. You have to understand all the stories, and then see what the common denominator is. All right, and pay attention, because whether or not you believe this shit doesn't matter. Everyone around you does. The people that run this place, they believe in shit that you never even heard of that would make your fucking skin crawl. Like the shit I've seen, and I've only been allowed to see this much of it because they know I would never be converted, is enough. Okay, like I saw people bloodletting and drinking blood and all kinds of fucked up shit, and that was just an open door. Okay, like I'm telling you, there's things in this world that would fucking ruin you. If you saw what I've seen, it would ruin you. You wouldn't be able to handle it. And there's people in power that believe this shit, and they want you to suffer. That is the end of it. So instead of trying to figure out the grand conspiracies and all this stuff, just understand that there are groups of people in this world, and you can divide them into two factions. Ones that believe in demons and demonology and ancient fucking demons and sacrificing blood sacrifices and all kinds of fucked up shit. The other side that believes in no God, who basically wants to run the world into a dystopian technocracy. Okay? That's all you need to know. That the direction of these people. And then there's a third class, which is like the underling class, that just does things for status and power, right? And the trinity of these fucks, they have no regard for life. They have no regard for sentience. They don't care. In fact, they enjoy causing suffering, and they've trained you to enjoy causing suffering for fun. Okay? In the old days, the old times, no one hunted for fun. You hunted for food. You respected the animals. Okay? You hunt for food, it's completely different. You don't go for sport to torture like sentient beings. That's not sport. Especially when you're hunting fucking things that have no, I'm gonna use a fucking rifle from a quarter mile away and shoot a fucking, an innocent animal and then, not even eat it. Okay? This is something that's been programmed in society. It's not natural. Okay? It's not natural to go and just do these things. So you gotta start to really evaluate where has humanity been directed to, where are we going, why, who runs this fucking place, and how do I save my soul? And that is basically it. I'm gonna say what my Chico master when I was, put into Buddhism. I asked him, how do you know? Like, why do you choose this particular style of Buddhism? And he says to me, if I'm going to gamble with death, I'm going to gamble with Buddhism. I'm going to gamble with the Amitabha Buddha. Yeah? So, but when you look at the Gnostic texts and you look at what Jesus was saying, you look at what Amitabha Buddha was saying, they're all teaching a very similar thing. So I would like to say that I know, a lot of religious scholars will disagree with this, but why would God create all beings, right, and then only give each one the promise of they're the fucking chosen ones, right? And if you do it this way, you'll be able to come to heaven with no, not them, right? This is like the biggest trick and soul test, it's, of your spirit and like that's possible. It's such an obvious game. It's an obvious trick, to manipulate you and test your spirit. To think the arrogance and the stupidity and ignorance to think that, oh yeah, my God is better than your God, right? Because God didn't create everything. It's like the logic, the lack of logic and stupidity is fucking outstanding. But that's where we're at, guys. I hope that's making sense. The whole Israeli thing, like I said, I spent a good 20 minutes hinting towards Israel, and I kept saying, right? Now, I don't expect anything that drastic to happen anytime soon, but I hope, there is a line of things that can happen that I do not even want to mention, because in one day, a whole bunch of, things, people that have been here that can be activated instantly with a phone call, and we're in a lot of fucking trouble. We're in a lot of trouble and nobody's ready. They weren't ready for the stupid protests of a bunch of fucking idiot kids acting like they're on Pleasure Island in Pinocchio. Imagine when you have military-age trained men who are now infiltrating the country, who are loyal to none of us. It's not good. Alright? And we're looking at some serious fucking shit. And to say it again, the only way that this country will be saved is with the paper trail and with, political powers that be and the military and police. We would have to take out a quarter of this country and incarcerate this country for sedition, subversion, and treason. And it would go from the bottom to the very top. People at YouTube, people at Facebook, Twitter, military, all the way up to the Pentagon. The only way this is going to be saved is if we go back to a constitutional republic, and it's done by force swiftly. But it has to start on paper in Congress and the House and freaking Supreme Court. It has to be done on paper. If this isn't done on paper, and we don't see a massive uprising of anyone who's against a constitutional republic and against this paperwork, we're fucked. We're fucked. There is no way out. Okay, and that's why I said, in my other streams here that, the last American president was Trump. Okay, and if we make it that long and he gets reelected, he will be the last president of the Americas as was known in history. And if he doesn't, or whoever doesn't come in and this type of plan isn't enacted, not good, guys. So that's where we're at, and I would suggest you guys start praying. All right, So that's it. If anybody has any questions, comments, accusations, You know, now is the time. You know, it's a lot, and I can't say too much here, and I know a lot of people who watch me already know a lot of the stuff, which is why I don't want to preach to the choir. And I know there's a lot of people who are coming who would be like, what the hell kind of crazy shit is this, and why is this guy throwing his whole name and reputation under the fucking bus? So it's that serious. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna sign off in a second, unless anybody has any questions. I'll be right back. I said I'll run upstairs for 1 second because if I don't close the windows, I'll be in trouble. Sorry about that. Now that the temperature's dropping, if I don't close the windows, I gotta put the heat on, and I'm po and broke. You know, surviving. You know, I've been locked down for 3 years. Okay, and it's not been easy, guys. So it's been it's been a rough, crazy ride. I got a lot of things that, you know, again, complaints go up the chain of command. You know, I don't want to look like a little bitch. So it doesn't matter if my fucking body's falling apart, I still try to show up and do what I gotta do for you guys, you know? So that's the story. You know, I hope this stuff is helpful. I hope that I'm not just throwing myself under the bus for no fucking reason. But yeah. So I actually, you know, I should more times. I do private readings. I've been doing like private readings for a very long time, and you know, so I was even paid to do readings for, you know, corporate types and things like that. So this stuff is very real, and you know, I don't want to have people coming to me. I want you know, like in that sense, but you guys gotta use this as some kind of proof to get you on the path. Like, at least look into remote viewing. Okay, just look up that term, remote viewing, just to see that it's not, you know, just random. Okay, it's not just bullshit. Okay, because there's multi-billion-dollar corporations that use these people all the time, and you know, I'm just some nobody, you know. So if I can do this shit, and you know, there's really, it's some serious stuff, and you're gonna need this understanding to understand what's happening in this world, because if you don't get the spiritual component of this, it's just gonna look like, you know, politics there, and you know, and it's not. Okay, this is pure fucking evil, guys, and you know, these things, they want you to suffer, and they enjoy your suffering, they live for you to suffer. There's, when you look at Mr. Yahoo, and you look at the speech he gave about going to war, slow it down. Like, I taught body language analysis and, you know, neurolinguistic programming, all like social engineering shit, you know, part of the reason I got banned. You don't have to be good at this. Just put it in slow motion and watch his facial expressions. He was happy that this occurred. That, you know, the level of intelligence that these guys have. I would love to, man. Thank you. If we make it that long, I would love to. I haven't found, you know, it's been rough out here, you know what I mean? And I've also been injured. More than half the time I've been here. I had to staple my hands together, I fucked my back up, I got poisoned twice. I had fucking bad surgery, I went sideways. It's been rough. I would love to come play push-ups with anyone. Somebody from Florida invited me to Tampa to go do push-ups, I think it was. I was like, I'd love to get out there. Just to get out. What's that? Oh yeah, man, I'm always out to jam. You know, I was actually thinking about trying to, cause I know Zoom has like a feature where they have something like for musicians. I was thinking about trying to get an online jam going and see if we can get like a bunch of like Tai Chi, Kung Fu musicians to get together. Gonna master the 5 excellences, you know? But yeah, I'm always down to jam. I'll jam on anything, I don't care. You know? I'll jam on anything. You know, like, but please guys, like, you know, remember this when all this shit starts going down. This is a spiritual war first, okay? It's like, even quantum mechanics has proven this. Because the thing of spirituality is quantum physics, okay? And a lot of the quantum physics is bullshit science, but it's a good reference point to have something that's science that you can relate to and compare the phenomena so that you can start to believe it. Because if you don't get this part of this, everything's going to look like chaos and everything's going to be too hard to handle. You got to get fucking ready. And these people that run this fucking world, they believe this shit. They want. Look, man. You got the the Jews and the the Jews especially, but the Christians also, that they want the end time prophecy. The Muslims, they want their holy war. You know what I mean? And they've been programmed to want it. And at least there's gonna be a fucking thing here. So that's how I have to assume Dodge. Bro, if I can do it, I will. It'd be great. It'd be fun. But maybe even in the Discord we could try that one day. I don't know if that would work though. I haven't tried it, but it would be pretty cool. You should actually find out. Organize yourself an online jam. Invite me. Everybody gotta stop looking at me to do everything. Get out there. Get out there and do work. Like, I think music is a spiritual practice. The whole reason why I got into it. Okay? It's music is like ritual magic in a sense. That's why in all religions you have songs, right? You have songs, you have to have them. The whole place is based on frequencies. So there's no other way. But going back to this, Yahoo guy, all right, the fucking Netanyahu dude. When you saw his body language and you analyze it and you just see that he was grinning. They didn't let the level of technology that Israel has in surveillance, okay? The probability of them not knowing that kind of attack was coming. You had ninjas from the Sand Village. You watched Naruto? We had ninjas from the fucking Sand Village, okay? Literally staging fucking paragliders. How do you have ninjas from the Sand Village staging fucking paragliders, guys? Okay? Flying in on fucking paragliders. Like Sand Ninja from the fucking hidden village of the sand, okay? Like, there's no fucking way that the staging of that was just, we just didn't see it. Okay? So, in the fucking least case, they have insider traders in Israel that somehow hid the staging of that attack. That's the best case scenario. That people on the inside of these intelligence agencies hid the information from the brass. There's no other fucking option other than they let it happen. So either they let it happen or they have infiltrators at the highest fucking levels to cover that up long enough for that attack to happen. One way or another, it's fucked up. You set it up, let me know, I'll jump in. But one way or another, guys, it's fucked. It's fucked up. And it's all planned, and now, like, U.S. is already you're gonna see that they're gonna, play pussyfoot, and they're gonna start staging, Navy. This is like standard operations, you're gonna see them like staging Navy fucking like 10, 20 miles off the coast, and then they're gonna say, are there any American hostages? But this is where it's gonna get weird because our potato in chief, the puppet in chief here. Who the fuck knows who's controlling these people and what their agenda is and how they're going to play this out? Because these guys are, it's a fucking disaster. Our country is basically, we're basically we're a host to parasites. All of the good, hardworking people of this country are a host to a parasite system that, it just takes resources from the good people and gives it to other places. That's all it is. And you can see this in every fucking stage of this system. The system is so corrupt and so fucking backwards and not based on the constitutional republic it was supposed to be. The only solution is for a mutiny where the middle and right use the government and the law and the Constitution to legally take everyone out. If they don't do this, if there's there's middle ground people on the right side don't go back and actually follow the papers as they're supposed to be and do the right thing for universal law and take these guys down and put them in their fucking place, we're fucked. Remember I said this. And it is a possibility that this could happen if, because again, the way that these systems work is it's like a domino. Like once a fucking paper's signed, it just goes down the line. All the robot humans, like little fucking worker ants, are going to follow the paper. Okay? All of this craziness all comes from paper. All these leftist, crazy fucking communist, Marxist ideas and all this technocracy comes from fucking paper. Comes from the words first. Everything comes from the paper. It all starts in this fucking ritual of putting things on paper or on the page, okay? Virtual or not, it's still on a fucking page. And the writing is important. And it's a very slim chance it could happen, and if that does, it'll be a fucked up road to recovery. But if it doesn't, it's a fucked up road. There's no answer here where anything's good. In worst case scenario, is total annihilation, chaos and destruction, Mad Max shit. Okay? Because it's going so far past the people's buying into the system and being able to support itself, it's going to implode. And then you have this fucking evil, criminal fucking psychopaths that run this world, that they want to wipe us out, they want us to suffer. They don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to live a good life. They don't want you to have families and friends and enjoy yourself. No, your life is to suffer because you're peasants and they're gods. Okay? So how we cut this a fucking shitburger deal, and it's not going to be good for anyone any way we look at it. So having time to jam with people and play guitar and do that stuff, living those little moments and things like that, I don't think that's important in life. Like having happy little moments as you can. At the same time, we have to have a bigger awareness of this, and doing little jams like that and getting people collected to come together and with reason and good faith is a good start. But if we continue on this path and everyone stays asleep and just hiding under the covers, and I'm just gonna keep doing the same fucking thing I've been doing my whole goddamn life and expecting it to change, same religion, same practices, same fucking thoughts, same laws, same thing, we're fucked. We're so fucked. So that's all I got, guys. I love you guys. I hope that these streams have helped you guys out, because I know a lot of you guys who do Tai Chi especially, you're all looking for some spiritual path, and there's all these different roads, so at least you got somebody who's not afraid to say it, that it's very real. I've experienced it, I live it, and I've been attacked on every fucking level, and it's only by the grace of God that I am still here right now talking to you. Okay, the fact I even have this channel, it's God fucking will, because the amount of attacks I've received, guys, for talking about these things and trying to help people, just trying to help people. Because if you saw how even when I've done things that were, you guys would think is not the most moral, I was still ridiculously moral doing it. And it sounds bizarre. I've lived a really good life, in that sense. And I'm just going to tell you that the stuff's real, and I hope that you guys do your research. Start just look into remote viewing so you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what that is, look into 1666. Okay, Sabbatai Levi. Okay, Levi is the easy thing. If you look 1666 Messiah, that'll work for you. And it's a good story to see how a whole group of religious people can be swayed and subverted and led astray. and it's just a good place, you know. And if you want to get into the spiritual aspects of this, you know, there's the Vishnu Puranas and Vedic text, and then you also have, you know, the Gnostic text. Now, if I think, look, I've known these stories since I was a kid. I never read the books. I know that sounds strange, but I would tell you to read the Gnostic text and just see what they're saying about how this place runs. Compare it with Buddhism and how they experience Mara and like all these things, and then go to the Vedics and then go to Sumeria and like the Anunnaki, and then see these stories and how they combine. And there's a guy named Jordan Maxwell, and Jordan Maxwell, before he died, if you look at his old, he used to do like lectures, and he translated the Hebrew text correctly. And when you translate the Hebrew text correctly, it sounds a lot like the Anunnaki story. You know, so things start to get really weird really fast. And if you really want to know like what's actually going on and how we got to this point, look into that, you know, weird stuff. You know what I mean? But it's more important that it's not that you have to believe, it's the fact that the people that run this place do. And I keep saying it over and over again because I know people skip around the fucking videos. The people that run this place, they're not good. They don't have your best intentions at heart, and they want you to suffer slowly and then die. Okay? That's their goal. You know, some of them would love to see 90% of us just disappear and just keep a slave class to serve them. That's really what they want. I know it's so bizarre, but when you see the type of money that I've seen, okay, and the type of power that I've seen in this world, and how it's not used correctly, you know, it's a sad place we're in. So expect shit to get fucking weird, but if we pray hard enough, I know it sounds crazy. There's something called transcendental meditation, and they did an experiment where a bunch of people would meditate, and they reduced the crime rates. So if I can leave you with anything, right, is look for that study, okay? This is why I say that meditation and prayer are so important. And it's not what system, you know, it doesn't matter what clothes you put on. What matters is that you're doing it with single-mindedness and good intent in accordance with the universal law. This is why some people, when they deal with like, you know, random possessions and shit, and they'll call the name of Jesus, you know, sometimes like, it works and like weird things happen. And then sometimes some people do it and nothing happens because it's not the word. I'm going to leave you with this one thing, and that's this industry. So when I was studying with my master, he gave me the story about the chant Om Mani Padme Hum, right? Everyone's heard the chant Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, right? You've heard this chant before. Well, there's a story about this woman who used to sell beans, and every day she would sell the beans, and she would not touch the beans. She would just chant Om Mani Padme Hum, but the beans would move every time she would chant. And the thing was, she was saying it incorrectly. She was saying something like Om Mani Padme Hum, okay, whatever it was. She was saying it incorrectly. But every time she would do this chant, the beads would move. And then one day, a monk came by and said to her, "Oh, you're saying it wrong. It's like this." And then she did it that way, and from that moment on, she couldn't move the beans. And what she was saying, my master was saying to me, is that it's more important that you have a clear intent and your heart and mind are in accordance with the intent and universal law than to have the actual practice. The practice and how you get there doesn't matter, which is why I say it's more important to just start praying, right, with a good intent in a single mind, rather than to find a specific morality or dichotomy or philosophy and hide underneath it and stand under it. You need to overstand and oversee, not understand things. Okay? So whenever possible, you want to be overseeing and understanding, not understanding and standing underneath. And on that, I'm going to say to you, in the human tongue, I say I love you. I'm grateful for your presence, practice your gratitude. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys. Good luck.